Welcome to this meditation. Hopefully, you've found your quiet space where you can relax and experience your own inner journey. First, settle yourself comfortably. Take a few slow, deep breaths, allowing your body to relax as you continue to breathe steadily. As you breathe out, let go of any lingering concerns, any feelings of unease. You might find it helps to open your hands, palms up, as a sign of welcome. Welcome, Divine Presence. Welcome, light and love. Come to quietness within. Rest deep in your innermost being. May I invite you now to see yourself walking along a mountain trail. You've been climbing for some time now, and you've reached a high viewpoint where the path has flattened out at last. You see a clear view of sloping hills beneath you, stretching out to the valley below. Presently, you find a place on the edge of the path and sit down to rest. What do you notice as you look out over the landscape spread out before you? What is your sense of the weather where you are? Perhaps you can see a storm way out in the distance. Or maybe a great dark cloud rolling across and heavy rain approaching. On the other hand, perhaps the day is fair, the sky is blue, and you're basking in the warm sunshine. Take a moment now just to notice the weather of your own inner landscape. Notice your present mood. What are your thoughts, your feelings right now? How does your inner weather affect you from day to day? What might be the usual, typical weather pattern in your everyday moods? Do you find you default to certain ways of thinking? When you're alone or in times of solitude, even when you give yourself to stillness and silence, What are the thoughts, the stories that jump immediately into your mind? Is there a familiar story you've told yourself over the years, and you're still telling it even today in a quiet moment? Writing about those distracting narratives which pop up in silent prayer, priest and writer Martin Laird says this: "That is the story of rejection that I have been telling myself for years." Or this is pride, or that old wound, or anger, or hurt, or grief, or guilt, or longing resurfacing. Today, I choose to recognize the narrative, but to let it go. He encourages us to move from being a victim of our negative thoughts to being a witness to what is happening. Martin says that the mountain does not determine what sort of weather is happening, but witnesses all the weather that comes and goes. And he continues, "It is very liberating to realize that what goes on in our heads, indeed the entire mind stream, does not have the final word on who we are." It is very liberating, he says, to realize that what goes on in our heads, indeed the entire mind stream, does not have the final word on who we are. As you sit there on the mountain, gazing out across those rolling hills to the valley below, become aware of who you are in your body, your heart, your mind and soul. Consider this: as the mountain is not the weather, you are not your thoughts. As the mountain is not the weather, you are not your thoughts. Listen to the Apostle Paul's words to his young friend Timothy. "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Come back to the weather of your own inner landscape. Can you identify those patterns of thinking and feeling which come from fear? Can you receive Paul's words for yourself? Hear him say to you now, "For God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Listen to this poem by writer and priest Richard Carter. Is it your head that is teaching you a message of fear and failure, locking you into a grief for the past, an avoidance of the present, and a despair for the future? The birds of the air, the flowers of the field reveal life now. Life so fleeting and so miraculous that you will miss it if you stay in your head. Like visiting the sea and staying in the car. Like a room with the curtains drawn. Like visiting a foreign land and staying in the airport lounge or international hotel room. Imagine in your silence Peter in prison and the doors opening. Imagine the padlocks breaking. Imagine the courage it needs to walk out of your cell and into the air. Imagine Christ walking with you now. How would it be, in Martin Laird's words, to recognize the narrative of those debilitating, fear-driven thoughts and to let them go? And you might like to see yourself now walking out in Christ's loving company into a new freedom and confidence. And now, when you're ready, walk back down the mountain trail and come again to the room where you now sit. In the quietness, hear these loving words from the Apostle John. My dear children, let's not just talk about love. Let's practice real love. This is the only way we'll know we're living truly, living in God's reality. It's also the way to shut down debilitating self-criticism, even when there is something to it. For God is greater than our worried hearts and knows more about us than we do ourselves. As we draw to the close of this meditation, reflect on what has touched you. Notice what you'd like to take with you into the coming days. Martin Laird's words are from his book Into the Silent Land. Richard Carter's words are part of a poem from his book The City is My Monastery. The Apostle Paul's words are from the first chapter of his second letter to Timothy in the New King James Bible, and the words from John are found in chapter 3 of his first letter from the Message version of the Bible. Go well. Bye for now.